Hey guys, what's happening? So today we're going to shift gears a little bit. Instead of arithmetic, sequences, and series, we're going to talk about geometric sequences and series. Sequences? I don't know, sequences, why not? And series. Okay, and today a geometric sequence is when the terms have a common ratio. So with arithmetic, it was a common difference, and this time it's a common ratio. And this is what I mean. So let's say we have the terms of a sequence that are 1, 3, 9, 27. Okay, so here's our first term, second term, third term, fourth term. Okay, so basically what you have to do, you say, okay, so the space between 1 and 3 is 2, but the space between 3 and 9 is 6. So obviously this is not arithmetic. It doesn't have a common difference. So you should check then to see, well, let me check to see if they're geometric. So 1 times what gives you 3? Well, 1 times 3. 3 times 3 gives you 9. 9 times 3 gives you 27. So the common ratio is going to be 3. Okay. Sometimes it's a little trickier. Sometimes it might be good just to go like this. Okay. Term 2 divided by term 1 is 3. Term 3 divided by term 2 is 2. Term 4 divided by term 3 is did I say 2? I meant 3. And term 4 divided by term 3 is also 3. Sometimes it gets a little tricky, but that's usually how I do it. I ask myself to go from this term to this term, what do I have to do? I have to multiply by 3. Do I still multiply by 3 here? Yes. Okay, so that's your common ratio. All right, so let's talk about the rule, okay? So part A, the rule for a geometric sequence. All right, and that is going to be the nth term is going to equal the first term times the rate raised to the power of n minus 1. Okay, so there's your rule. All right, so let me give you an example. All right, write the rule then find the 10th term, a sub 10, okay? So here we go. We have 4, 20, 100, 500. Okay? All right. And so I ask myself, to go from 4 to 20, what do I have to do? It looks like multiply by 5, right? 20 times 5 is 100. 100 times 5, 500. There you go. So my R is going to be 5. And then looking at the rule, you need the R, but you also need the first term. So I'm just I know I see it right there, but I'm just going to list it. A sub 1 is 4. Okay, that's my first term. All right. And so from there, you just plug it in just like that. So the A sub n is going to be, follow the rule, the first term, so 4 times the rate, which is 5, raised to the power of n minus 1, okay? Now it asks us to find the 10th term. Let's just do this really quick. Let's find the 5th term. So this is the first, second, third, fourth. Let's just do the 5th because we know what it is. It's gonna be 5 times 500, which is 2,500, right? So let's just do that just to show you that it works. So how about the 5th term? That's gonna be 4 times 5 to the power of n minus 1, so that's 5 minus 1, okay, which equals 4 times 5 to the power of 4, okay? And I believe that's 625, okay? So this is 4 times 625, and I believe that is going to be 2,500. But I'll check just to make sure, hopefully. 4 times 625, and that's 2,500, yeah, just as predicted, okay? So you could do the same thing with the number 10. I know I said find the 10th term, but whatever. Let's just find the 5th term, just to, show you that it works. All right. So let's do something here. Let me show you another one. Do the same thing here. How about this? 152. Okay, and then negative 76, and then 38, and then negative 19. Okay. Now this one's not as easy. What do I have to do to go from 152 to negative 76, and from negative 76 to, okay? So, I mean, I could see it, and I know that I'm cutting them in half and also negating them each time, okay? But it's also just as easy to do this. R equals, take this guy, negative 76, and divide by this guy, 152, okay? Or you can do this guy divided by that guy. You're going to get the same thing, okay? And this should equal negative 1/2, okay? So there's my R. Okay, and then you have A1, and you could just plug it in the same way that you did that, okay? So just to show you a couple different examples of how those look. Sometimes your common ratio will be 5. Sometimes it will be a fraction. All right, so here we go. Let's do B. Write the rule given R and a term, okay? Write the rule given R and a term. Okay, so here's my example. R equals 2, and A sub 4 is equal to 12. All right, so what do we need? We need the R, and we need the first term, okay? Well, remember how we did the arithmetic sequences with the rules and stuff? We had to find A sub 0, and what did we do? We subtracted the common difference until we got down to the 0th term, okay? This time we need the first term, and we're not going to subtract off. Remember, this is the common ratio. So remember up here, if we have a common ratio that's 3, what did I do to have to go from the third term to the second term? I had to divide by 3. Okay, then to go from the second term to the first term, I had to divide by 3 again. Okay, so watch this. If I want the first term, A sub 1, I'm going to start with this 12 right here, but I'm going to divide by 2, right? Okay, but that will just give me the third term, won't it? If I divide the 12 by 2, that will give me the third term. So then I want to divide by 2 again, right? So divide by 2 again. Okay, that'll give me the second term, and then divide by 2 again, that will give me the first term, okay? But writing it like that doesn't really, it's not that great. I'm sure you could see an easier way to write it, okay? We have to divide by 2, right? We have to divide by 2 3 times, so it's going to be 2 to the third power, okay? And that equals 12 divided by 8, and that equals 3/2. So now I can just plug this in, okay? So my rule A sub n is going to equal 3/2. That's my, that's my first term, times the R, which is 2, raised, remember, always to the power of n minus 1, okay? All right, and just to check it really quick, we can just, let's figure out what the fifth term would be, okay? Wouldn't, if the R is 2, that means for the fifth term, I multiply 12 times 2 and I get 24, right? So watch, if I do the fifth term should equal 3/2 times 2 to the 5 minus 1, okay? So that's 3/2 times 2, 5 minus 1 is 4, okay? 2 to the 4th power is 16, so this is 3/2 times 16, okay? 16 divided by 2 is 8, and 3 times 8 is 24, okay? So we got 24 just like we predicted, okay? All right, let's do part C. Okay, write the rule given 2 terms. All right, so here's my example. Okay, my example is A sub 3 equals 100, okay? And let's see, A sub 6 is equal to 12,500. Okay. All right. So I just like to write this stuff down so it's easier to see. So we have the third term, which is 100. Then we're going to have the fourth term, which is something. Then the fifth term, which is something. And then the sixth term, which is 12,500. Okay. So remember, you have to go from this guy to this guy by multiplying by the R, right? Okay. And then multiply by the R again to get that, and then multiply by the R again to get that. Okay, so if I multiply 100 times the R, okay, I get the fourth term, times the r again, I get the 5th term, and then times the r again, I should get the 6th term, right? So how many times did I multiply by the r? 3 times, okay? Which you could get easily by 6 minus 3 is 3, okay? So I'm going to multiply that 100 times r to the power of 3, and that should equal 12,500. Okay, now simply solve for r. Divide by 100, so r cubed equals 125. Now take the cubed root on both sides, so r equals, right? Take the cubed root on both sides, so r equals 5. Okay, and you can test that, right? So 100 times 5 is 500. Watch, 500. Okay, 500 times 5 is 2,500. All right, and I'll get my calculator just to prove it. Turn it on. Clear whatever's there. 2,500 times 5. Cross your fingers. Yeah, there you go. 12,500. Okay, so now that's my r. Okay, remember I'm trying to write the rule, but I was given the 3rd term and the 6th term. Okay, so I still need the 1st term. So now remember, the 1st term is going to equal, well, start with that 3rd term, right, which is 100. Okay, and remember, to go from the 3rd term down to the 1st term, you have to divide by the r and then divide by the r again, right? So we're going to divide by the r, which is 5, but we're going to divide by 5 squared because I'm dividing by 5 and then dividing by 5 again to get to that 1st term. Okay, and this is 100 divided by 5 squared is 25. 100 divided by 25 is 4. So a1 is 4, okay, and r is 5. So this is my a1, okay. So there are my 2 pieces, and now I can write the rule. A sub n equals, a sub 1 is 4, times the r, which is 5, okay, to the power of n minus 1. All right, now watch this. We should be able to use this to get, like, let's say the 7th term, okay? So watch this. Here's the 7th term. To get from the 6th term to the 7th term, we have to multiply by 5, right? So 12,500, so 12,500 times 5, that gives me 62,500. So this should, if I want the 7th term should be 62,500, right? So let's just check. So it's going to be 4 times 5 to the power of 7 minus 1. So that equals 4 times 5 to the 6th power. Okay, so we'll go 5 to the power of 6 and then multiply by 4. And there we go, 62,500, just as predicted, okay? All right, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to make a new video. So I'll see you in a second. Bye.